What's going on, Pricey popcorn people? Welcome back to the podcast with even hotter movies and hot takes. How's it going, Ben?
It's going pretty well, man. Yeah, the movies are just going to get hotter and hotter as the temperature gets hotter and hotter, baby. It's April.
It's spring.
March is done. We got the March recap coming at you today. We're talking about all the movies. Well, not all the movies, because this was a weird month. Not all of them spoke to me, but there's some good movies out there that we can talk about. It's going to be like
stuff
a Venn
worth
diagram.
watching and some stuff really, really not worth watching, which, I mean, I think it's only fair if we start with the bad movies and kind of work our way to brighter topics.
That's a good idea.
So first and foremost, do not watch the Coming to America sequel. It was bad. It was very bad.
So what? That's like an Eddie Murphy thing. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's
so it's honestly like a bunch of high schoolers took the original movie and said, "Let's meme it," and that's what the second movie is. And it's just bad. It's just really nothing about it is likable. It's probably the worst movie I've seen in the last decade.
Were there any good laughs? Did you chuckle at all during it?
Maybe like once, right? Maybe like once or twice, but it was more like, I can't believe I'm watching this.
Well,
so similarly, I watched the new Tom and Jerry movie. That actually made me laugh.
Really?
That actually made me laugh. That was still honestly very bad. Still very bad, but it was honestly kind of I can't believe they're doing this. I can't believe this is in a Tom and Jerry movie. Bad, and it was just funny because of it.
So this is like it's kind of like that Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing where they're interacting with the real world. How does that happen? Do they like come out of a storybook or something?
No, they're just there.
They're just there. It's just a world.
The opening scene, I swear to God, and this is just not based on the TikTok guy I sent you. The opening scene was a Italian mouse going to Jerry. He was like, "Jerry, baby."
Wow.
And he's trying to sell him like an apartment in a like broken down car. He goes, "Jerry, baby."
Wow. What kind of do they get into some kind of adventure?
Yeah, there's a plot.
There's a plot.
Colin Jost from SNL is getting married at this big hotel, and the main character woman is like homeless and poor, and she like steals someone's identity to work at the hotel. And then Tom and Jerry are fighting in the hotel, and it's a whole thing. It was kind of fun. Like if you throw it on for like a kid, like you have a little cousin or a little nephew or something, and you throw it on because they'll be like, "Oh, Tom and Jerry," you will laugh watching it.
Okay. Do you think it's the best live action anime interpretation?
Sonic was way better.
Oh, okay.
Cool. It still wasn't great. I mean, so they did a good job of that part, I thought. Like the interaction between the cartoons and like the live action people.
Yeah, I would be interested in checking that out just to see how that kind of has progressed since the Who Framed the Roger Rabbit era.
I mean, it wasn't awfully made, but the acting was really corny. The writing was very low grade. The story was
What about kids? You recommend it for kids? Take your cousin to go see it.
I guess.
Or put it on TV.
Okay. So let's we'll segue into the next one. Did you see? You didn't see Raya and the Last Dragon?
No, I didn't.
I had very high hopes for that. I was very underwhelmed with it. Blair made a good point that it's a Disney princess movie and not necessarily just a typical like Disney movie.
Right.
Which is fair, but yeah, I just was very low on it. I had high expectations, and it just was. I almost turned that one off.
Really?
So if I had to pick a movie for like kids, I'd probably put on Tom and Jerry just because I feel like they'd be more entertained by it, and there's more going on.
If you've got the service, it's free.
That's how I feel. But yeah, Ryan and Les, I was like I said, disappointed because technically Disney movie, so you can compare with the Pixar movies. Onward and Soul, it's just like those are top,
right?
Great, they're grade A. They're A plus, A minus, and then
the princess movie thing. I mean, like Frozen's good.
Yeah, it was very like there wasn't really a lot of adult it was dumbed down for kids. Okay. That was my biggest issue for it. It wasn't one of those movies like other Disney, I guess, because Moana's a Disney princess film technically, right? That's not dumbed down for kids. That's just like it's not like Onward's not dumbed down for kids.
It's not like over the top, but it's real with them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how the Avatar is.
Yeah, but this one was super dumbed down for kids. They made jokes targeted directly for little kids, and there wasn't any like over the top humor. The story was okay. It was, kind of exciting, but it kind of got bad at some parts, and I was kind of just like, I wanted more. Disappointed. But yeah, Tom and Jerry, I'd say I'd rather probably just put that on because it's more stuff's going on.
Cool. Well, speaking of movies to just put on because there's other stuff going on, something we both saw. What'd you think of the new Godzilla flick that came out this month?
So the review I'm going to give it, I'm going to get hate for it because like I've kind of talked about before, all my movies are on a spectrum. Just the way I have my movie ranking set up, I can't really, it's kind of unfair I rate it based on, the best movies I've seen. So, Godzilla's going to probably be, a 3 or 4. Which, is definitely unfair, and I'm going to get hate for it. But Godzilla's just one of those movies where it's just meant, you're just supposed to sit back and enjoy and watch monsters fight.
Yeah, right. And so... I mean, I
loved it. It was great.
To give it a 3 or 4, see, I would put a good Star Wars in the 7 to 8 to soft 9 category.
Empire Strikes Back's at least a 9, but the rest of them,
a Last Jedi is going to be a 6 to 7, and this is even at its best, the Godzilla versus King Kong movie isn't going to be that sick. So. I think a 3 to 4. Yeah,
but it just wanted. I'm going to get hate, but I'm also going to talk. It's super entertaining to watch.
Right.
I mean, the CGI and shit was awesome.
Right.
And Monkey,
it looked great. Monkey. They did great powwow fights. Definitely the stuff that you care about in that Godzilla movie is the awesome, spectacular fighting. You don't care so much about the 2 subplots they have going on with
the subplots were wasted, and honestly, so I don't know. What's the guy from Friday Night Lights' his name?
Todd.
No, the coach from Friday Night. What? Something Taylor.
Man.
He's Coach Taylor in the show.
Right.
I get he's in the other ones, but having him in this one was pointless.
Oh,
and then,
that guy.
And then and then Millie Bobby Brown.
I honestly,
she was underwhelming. I was disappointed.
She's
with
doing
her.
the whole you kind of soft-spoken, breathy,
that's
serious thing that she does in Stranger Things.
I think that's but she's good in Stranger Things.
Right, but that's a specific kind of thing. I think she needed to be a little bit more bubbly.
Yeah, that's just the writing and the directing of that. They don't give a shit. They're just monkey fight big lizard.
And they probably thought, let's just give them what they like out of Millie Bobby Brown. Let's direct her to do that. So it'll be interesting to see her transition maybe into some more adult roles.
The only thing I get, I get the movie is it's just supposed to be, big monsters fighting and cool special effects, and you just watch it for that.
Right.
Pure entertainment. But it's a huge budget movie. I don't get why there's not better writing, better acting, and then at least a little bit better subplots. It just kind of seems
it's true.
It's grade A. Grade A
for the fences.
Yeah. Why not just I don't know how much writers cost, or
how people wouldn't care. I don't know.
But I just feel you could make such a better movie.
Right.
If you just put a little more effort into.
It is an interesting idea, too, these ginormous creatures, these titans of the world that kind of, live underground and, are these kind of primal things that dominate the way our planet is. And, a world where that exists, that sounds really interesting, but,
I guess they did do a really good job of humanizing King Kong, at least.
Right.
They do a really good job with the little girl and their connection and everything. But besides that, it's they could have done something, they could have at least had some better dialogue, a little better acting, make it at least more realistic to a point, and then you get to enjoy the big monster fight at the end, Right. When they make Mechagodzilla, make that make you're worried about the characters a little bit, or
make it about the fighting and back off totally.
Yeah, it seems like a weird middle ground. It's lukewarm. It's not the worst acting I've ever seen, but it's also it's they're trying. Yeah, I agree. Either just back off or
B tier, blockbuster stuff.
But again, it's I just feel you just add a little more effort, the quality's going to be so much better. Right. And I feel it'd be easy to do because they already spent like
Yeah,
it's like $300 million or something to make the movie. You can't put $100K towards.
right, because these things always go down to time and budget. So like it's either was it rushed and they just worked with the story they could, or did they not put enough money towards it?
I don't even think it was the story. It's just like it seems like lack of effort. They just didn't care.
About like which parts then? If they didn't care about the story, which parts what do you think is the problem there?
I think it's like just the dialogue and the acting. Like they just said like, oh, okay, yeah, Millie Bobby Brown, C+ performance. All right, move on.
Yeah, yep.
No one cares. No one cares. Godzilla's gonna throw King Kong into a building now.
Pretty much. Yeah, so that's the kind of movie that if you want to just kind of throw on in the background, go ahead, chuck it on. I mean, it looks great. King Kong looks good. So I've heard some people say that he looks a little funny, but like I don't know. I thought he looked for what you're going to make King Kong look like. That's fine. Godzilla looks fine. They were able to put some personality in the face in spite of the fact that it's just a big gray lizard. They put. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but that Mecha Godzilla's in there, baby. Big ol' robotic Godzilla. Yeah, cool. Interesting to get that in the modern kind of framing. So, yeah, decent movie. Check it out if you feel like it.
I feel like it's probably people are gonna, out of all the movies we're talking about today, I feel like people will watch Godzilla more than anything else.
I guess
most hyped, most mainstream.
Right, easiest to access, I think, too, with it just being HBO. I mean, unless more people have Apple TV Plus than I realize and can talk more about.
Nah, I feel like people have. Actually, that's a good question.
Like my mom, my mom has Apple TV Plus, so I swagged her account to check out Cherry, which we'll talk about.
Oh, we can just get into it. We can just get into it because
let's roll to Cherry, huh? Cherry colored couches.
So Cherry is for background because not a lot of people have heard about it. Right. So I saw it a little bit promoted, but not really at all. So Cherry's Tom Holland's latest movie, which is actually made by the Russo brothers, the same people who made the Marvel movies. So.
Not all of them, but a bunch of them. Like, I mean, they did Endgame and they did Civil War.
Sorry. Thanks for the correction. Some of the recent Marvel movies. But so Tom Holland's like literally been in everything. Like they just keep throwing him in stuff.
So, and I think maybe has to chill out with that a little bit because he's putting to me, he puts this movie on his back with a amazing performance. Yeah. Like there wasn't really much else.
The female lead, I think she did a really good job, but she played the role.
Right. And yeah, I think there's a little bit of that, but I think that like a great actor can kind of make something a little bit more of that role than what it was. Because I think Tom Holland takes a role that's kind of not like it's kind of general, kind of basic, and makes it something really cool. Like I think if that's an A to S tier actor like a Zendaya, that's like, I think Zendaya or somebody of that caliber would pull a little bit out of that role that maybe wasn't there. But I think Ciara Bravo still does like a fine job.
Yeah.
She was in a bunch of Disney stuff when we were kids. So
I think that's like what they're, because I think so the movie's supposed, it's kind of like a social critique on war. It was marketed as a war movie, which I think's weird because like, this isn't huge spoilers, but like a majority of the film's not war.
Right. Well,
like,
I think more
out of like 30 minutes of the 2 hours and 20 minutes is like him actually like overseas, like fighting in the war. But yeah, it wasn't
20 minutes of training. Well, it's kind of more of,
it wasn't supposed to be that.
It's a critique of the American opioid crisis, and
due
especially
to
that in
war.
Well, and largely due to war. But so that's kind of one of my problems with it is that it's super about the opioid crisis, but they only kind of get into the nuance of why this is happening. It's more about like what happens as a result, what Tom Holland's character and Ciara Bravo's character will do to maintain their opioid addiction. Yeah. And get their fix.
I mean, I kind of saw it from like another view of like, this is what happens when you don't take care of veterans when they come back. Like just throw pills at them and then this is, what happens. And I mean, I every time, like, I hate any TV show or movies where they like do like hard drugs. Like, there's scenes in Breaking Bad that make me cringe. If you ever seen the show Mr. Robot, there's a very graphic like scene where he goes in a heroin house. All that stuff, you know, it makes me cringe and freaks me out. So this one was like, it's like I like in my review, I said the whole movie, it's like horrifically beautiful. Like, it's done so well. But it's so, like, at times it's so raw and so real, especially like them just doing the drugs and their relationship and screaming at each other and everything that goes into it. But I did enjoy the the love story in the beginning and how it blooms towards the end and everything, and like kind of what goes on in between. So I did like that part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think they portray some of that really well. To me, what the biggest thing that they portrayed is, you know, what they'll get into to maintain their opioid addiction. And like, yeah, they get into a lot of the stuff that like the middle of the movie focuses on the PTSD more so than it gets carried through the rest of the movie. Like, it then kind of just becomes like a throwaway line that like the plug will use to be like, and you have PTSD when he's like ragging on him. And I don't know. I mean, so I saw it as like I guess this is maybe a difference in our just viewing of it, but I saw it as like 70% diving into the opioid crisis, 30% diving into like, what I mean is capacity for how much they could have, not like not pieces of the pie, but more of like, if you're gonna put the throttle on each individual one, it was like they went 70% into the opioid crisis, they went like 30% of the way into the things that cause people to become addicted to opioids. They go like 20% into the way of like relationship drama, and I mean, it's all related, but there's an element to me of maybe they could back off some of the focus in like certain areas, or maybe focus a little bit more tightly on certain areas to bring stuff out a little bit more and make it a more well-rounded movie instead of kind of plateauing, you know, or like peaking and plateauing.
I hear you. I definitely watched it a little bit differently, or viewed it differently. I kind of just saw it. Why Tom Holland's like the real, like, only, like, he's the only real main character. Like, everyone else is like role players around him, but it's like, they're using his life story, or like this story about him to make these social critiques and like give back and like give deeper meaning into it. So I really liked it. I could relate to the first, so it's broken up into chapters. The first chapter is really about like him and his relationship with the girl, and like what happens, and then it goes into like why he joins the army. The love story stuff, very relatable for me. Like, it's cool. I like the way that they filmed it and the cinematography along with it. I do like I enjoy the tropes and just the kind of way they told the story through. And then the war stuff and the PTSD, like, you know, always hits home. One of those things. It's like very real that we don't think about.
And then Tom Holland does such a great job of portraying that.
Yeah, he did great. And I mean, so I kind of viewed it too. I saw it more of like, this is what happens when you go to war. You come back and you're fucked up, and it fucks your relationships up, and you have PTSD, and like drugs is like the only thing you can turn to.
They really do drive home that like, do not join the army kind of message. And
it's like, this is what happens. Like, this is what's going to happen. Like, you're going to come home. They're not going to take care of you. And then like, how his relationship goes to hell, and how like him and I guess they're married. So him and his wife like are falling out, and then they just do drugs. And then it's like, and I guess towards the end, it does just get into, it's like, what you'll resort to doing to keep doing the drugs. But then so at the end, Tom Holland, he's like robbing banks, but he keeps doing it because it's so easy.
Right.
You know, so it's not like I thought it was interesting because it's not
he also keeps doing it because he's so desperate.
Yeah.
I think that maybe he pulls it off really well, but it's not necessarily easy. Like, they show the cross-eyed dude can't do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, but like he just keeps doing it because it's so easy, and I think it's like just showing like he just, you know, he's still they're showing he's a nice guy, through and through the whole way. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought I'm like very high on it. Really made me think. Relatable for me, and I thought it was done extremely well. So
Yeah, I'm not like super high on it. I've seen some people really criticize the heck out of it. I don't think it's like as deserving as some of the criticism it gets. I think it's a fine movie. Definitely check it out, especially if you like a good Tom Holland performance, because he balls out.
I think it's worth it just to see him. And I mean, it's the best movie that came out last month, at least
Yeah,
for
like
me.
if you like Tom Holland, definitely see it. If you like want to see Tom Holland do something that's not just Spider-Man, check it out for sure. If you don't like Tom Holland at all, maybe don't. But he's good. He's undeniably good.
Yeah.
Again, I just wish they would have paired him with somebody of his.
Yeah, but I think that's what they.
You know.
I mean, I don't know.
they
Maybe I
gave her a
just
shot.
maybe
She
I
does
just
fine.
trust the directors too much, and like I just felt like it was his. They wanted it to be his movie, and
They did choose like the two most baby-faced looking people you could choose to like make them super sympathetic.
yeah, I mean, I think that goes into it of just like,
Yeah, for sure.
oh shit,
She
like, she
definitely-
looks like a baby.
Like, I mean, like when she's, I mean, she's 24, so give her the role, whatever. But like, when I see her as a college professor, I mean, I guess I had some college professors who were that age, but like, she just looked like a child who just happened to be at the front of the
Yeah.
classroom. I don't know. It's whatever. I mean, yeah, honestly, her performance is fine. It's just like, it would have been cool to see like the level that Zendaya put into, Malcolm and Marie.
Hey, I hear you.
You know?
I hear you. But yeah, so speaking of another Tom Holland movie, so Chaos Walking came out beginning of the month. I saw that one in theaters. It was okay.
Yeah, I still want to check it out. Daisy Ridley, I mean, so it's worth seeing a Daisy Ridley performance that isn't
Nah.
Star Wars.
She's
Brady
bad.
don't like
She's
it.
bad. She's bad in that movie. I'm sorry.
That's a shame.
But I think it's writers and directors, because Tom Holland wasn't like anything special. It was a cool, unique premise, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a space western. A little like they have a little like plot. Some cool things happen in the plot, and it's okay. Like it's okay. It's watchable.
A space western, so it is kind of like sci-fi. Are they like
Yeah.
from Earth?
Yeah, so it's like one of those movies where like they're on like a newly inhabited planet. Not to give too much spoiler. So I guess I don't watch movies or like I don't watch trailers or like read reviews before I like go see stuff. So I don't really know what's spoilers and what's not. But so the plot of the movie is Tom Holland lives in this society on a new planet that's all men. And all the men, all your thoughts are like projected out of your head, so everyone can hear your thoughts, and you can't like control. You can't like control your thoughts. You can try, but like
You can't.
You
at
can't.
A certain point.
And then the plot is Daisy Ridley, and like so Tom Holland in this colony. They're waiting. Tom Holland's the youngest kid in the colony. He was the last kid born into the colony while there were still women, but now he's an adult. And then Daisy Ridley is coming from like the mothership from Earth. It's like the last of the people of Earth. They're there to like finish the settlement and like help out and everything. When her ship's coming down to Earth, or coming down to the new planet, to like radio back to the mothership saying like, hey, like you can live here and everything. They like crash, and like they all see her and they're like, oh my God, it's a girl. Like Tom Holland's like, I've never seen a girl before. Then he like befriends her and they go on a mission, and yeah, it's okay.
Neat. Yeah, I mean, I'll check it out. I mean, it's probably worth me viewing. Where'd you see it? Did you see it in theaters? Or?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters at the AMC because I couldn't watch it anywhere else. It wasn't like out for me to watch.
Is it only out in theaters?
It might be out now. No, it is out now because Blair put it on our media server.
Cool.
It's worth checking out. Definitely better than all those other movies. Definitely better than Coming to America and Tom and Jerry.
Right. Better than Cherry? No.
Not even
you're
close.
honest. So, what's next? I mean, I guess I can briefly touch on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to see the Snyder Cut yet, but Ben definitely needs to talk about it. I mean, it's a bear of a movie.
It's
you got
a bear
4 hours.
of a movie. So, like, I totally can't wait until somebody on the internet just cuts up a version that's only 2.5 hours.
You know it's coming.
Somebody's going to do it because there's just copious amounts of slow-mo.
I've seen a bunch of memes about it.
You can. if you sped up that slow-mo to real time, it takes away like 10 minutes at least. And like scenes that don't need to necessarily be there, but it's definitely Zack Snyder kind of indulging himself and making his version of the movie. So all in all, I think it's really good. I loved it. I think that like especially the back half of it has been worth me going back and rewatching a couple times, just because it's some cool action. They've made some changes from the original Justice League to some of the lines, some of the deliveries, and other stuff of the sort that, like, you know, was not so cool in the original cut. Now they've kind of updated it through the reshoots to be more like what Zack Snyder wanted it to be than what Joss Whedon wanted it to be.
I heard that they give Flash a lot more like character and stuff.
Well, so with Flash, what they do is they've taken some of his super annoying lines out and have replaced them with better lines, or like they kind of tone down on his quippiness. He doesn't make the stupid brunch joke. He's still kind of annoying to me, but then also he has this moment at the end when they're trying to beat the big bad guy that I don't think any other actor than this kind of actor could have done for this particular Flash. Like the way that he portrays the pain and the desire to succeed at the end of the movie. I think that actor does a really good job, Ezra Miller or whoever he is. Cyborg gets significantly more screen time.
Cool.
He is who they really flesh out. They make him a cool character. And that's great because I love Cyborg from Teen Titans.
Yeah, so it's cool that they did that.
I didn't know that he was like Justice League in a lot of comics and in a lot of other interpretations. I always saw him as just a Teen Titans guy. Mm-hmm. It's great to see him in this kind of setting and on the big screen on IMAX. It is weird that they shrink the ratio to that 4:3 aspect ratio, but whatever. All in all, I think it's an interesting movie. It's definitely not like a typical Marvel movie. It's not like amazing that it's it's this avant-garde superhero film, but it's still, you know, definitely worth checking out. Super definitely worth checking out when they cut it to like 2.5 hours instead of 4.
I mean, I still got work. I gotta watch it, so I'll get to it eventually. Just to sit down and watch a 4-hour movie.
That's a lot.
It's a little tough.
So, I mean, it's broken up into chapters.
Yeah,
so you can watch a chapter, like 8 chapters or something, you know. But it doesn't quite work like that, you know. I think that if you can just kind of throw it on while you're doing some stuff, I don't know. It moves pretty fast. I watched it in 2 sittings. I watched half of it, ate dinner, then watched another half. So maybe try one of those approaches. But I don't know. That's all I got to say about March movies. Here's to a good April. We didn't look up what's coming up in April.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess last thing about March. So there's a TV show, sci-fi original TV show called Resident Alien. I just want to touch on it. It was a honestly great show. Worth checking out if you're, you know, into that. It's like dark humor, kind of funny. It's about an alien who comes to Earth. And he's like disguised as a human, and there's one kid in the town that can see him for the alien he is. So it's funny, dark humor, but you know it's lighthearted and kind of, you know, it's good content. Probably the best thing sci-fi's ever made.
Yeah, you don't think of that for their original content.
It's not bullshit. Like it's good. It's actually good. Good. Alan Tudyk, the guy who plays Pirate Steve in Dodgeball, like it's him as the main character, so he's fantastic in it. And yeah, there's good goofy characters throughout, and definitely well worth the watch. So just want to plug it because I kind of slept on it, and then I watched it, and I was like, okay, it's good, cool. good, worth the watch.
Maybe I'll check it out. I definitely have TV. I don't watch enough like cable TV.
Yeah, that's why it's surprising. Just because one, it's sci-fi too. Like when was the last time like cable TV like really gave us
anything good? Unless you count like Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
Cable. Yeah, I guess that's like. Okay, score 1 for Better Call Saul. But other than that,
yeah. So I mean, April's exciting, but it's also going to be like maybe a slower month. So they just announced the new Tom Clancy movie with Michael B. Jordan. That's an Amazon exclusive. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Without Remorse, it's called.
I think it's going to be interesting because Amazon usually makes very poor movies, but Michael B. Jordan's a pretty good actor, and he's played roles like this before. So like him is like I don't know what the actual plot, but him is like him in the army or military or FBI, SWAT, whatever it is. I think he'll be okay, and I think it'll be probably just like an average movie.
Cool. Yeah, looking at all the movies that are coming out in April, other than like Mortal Kombat and that one,
Mortal Kombat's
and
gonna be-
Voyagers. I mean, there's a lot of like movies that aren't connected to something else. We're getting back to a time. There's a chick flick coming out.
What
like,
is it?
Just Say Yes. I'm assuming it seems like a
Who
Say
is
Yes
it?
to the Dress kind of. I don't know. It's a romantic comedy starring Yolanthe Cabot.
I'm not familiar.
I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Hoob Schmidt and Jim Back. Maybe this is not an American film.
Man. Yeah, so the two movies I'm probably most hyped for. So the Jaws, or not the Jaws. I got Jimmy on my mind. We're talking about Jaws this weekend. The Saw remake. It's like a spinoff, I guess,
Right. Which
called
one is that?
Spiral,
Spiral.
and it has Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson as the two main characters. Very excited for that because Chris Rock's been on a tear. He killed 2020, so I'm very excited to see that, and I think it'll be decent. I think they're gonna add a layer of like character development and like more drama based to like the whole Saw thing, because like Saw's like kind of like
It's
the
all been
Godzilla
kinda
shit.
just-
Like it's all just
yeah.
like slasher thriller shit.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna add a good layer of good dialogue and acting to this with those two characters. And then one I just saw advertised is called Voyagers. It's about it's like sci-fi themed. It's about a bunch of, I guess, like teenagers on a spaceship going to like a new planet. They all take this drug that like kills their emotions and kind of just makes them like robots so they can do their daily task and make it to this new planet. And then apparently like two of the kids decide they want to like have pleasures and emotions, and they stop taking the medicine, and it's like what happens when they stop. So
Yeah, we'll see. That sounds like an interesting
sounds nice.
kinda-
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it kind of, when Brady was telling me about it earlier, I said it reminded me conceptually of Passengers, in that it's this kind of like these two people take this giant leap of faith together. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't. Maybe it turns out well, maybe it doesn't. So
Yeah,
we'll
I mean,
see. That sounds interesting.
we'll see. Like, yeah, it definitely sounds interesting, and it's one of those. It sounds like it's going to be a little.
There's a movie called Jesus coming out.
It sounds like it'll be like a little philosophical and
Yeah.
maybe explore some unique topics. So
Existential.
I'm excited for it. Sounds like it'll be worth the watch, I think.
For
At least
sure.
I hope.
Yeah, it looks like we might find some hidden gems in the month of April, from what I can see.
And then so Nobody, we talked about it last month. It didn't actually, so it's out in theaters, but you can't watch it digitally. And I don't know too many people going to the movies if I'm not. So we're gonna talk about it again. If you like Better Call Saul, you like Breaking Bad, Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah,
new
Bob
movie.
Odenkirk's been doing some
They've been
interviews
raving about
too.
it. They've been raving about
Really?
how good it is.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, Bob Odenkirk's just, he's good.
But it's also funny that he's in the movie.
Right, it's funny that he's playing like a guy who punches people.
Yeah.
That's not what you're used to him punching people with his words. Not with,
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. I guess, yeah, Slippin' Jimmy. I hope he pulls a Jimmy slip. Anyway, we've probably been going for a while here, but thank you so much for tuning in to the Pricey Popcorn Podcast. Give us a follow at Pricey Popcorn on Instagram. What do you think, Brady? Anything else you got going on?
I feel
before
like we got a lot of Apple podcast listeners. Let's if you're bored and you have some time, watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, check
see
us
us
out.
sitting on the couch having some beers and enjoying our time.
It adds a whole extra, layer of perception to your experience with the Pricey Popcorn Podcast. One of these times, we'll get the 4D thing going so you can smell the popcorn here in the studio.
We need to actually eat some popcorn on an episode.
Yeah, there's
sometime.
never been some popcorn. We may as well just like have a bowl of popcorn. It's Pricey Popcorn, for God's sake.
Oh man,
Cha-ching, lace it with some bling. Maybe we'll get like a real studded popcorn bowl.
oh man.
Send us that. I don't want to make that.
Well, as always, take it easy. Keep sending us ideas. Drop comments what you want us to talk about. We have some exciting episodes coming up. So, stay tuned. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.